Ways of knowing are a check on our instinctive judgments. To what extent do you agree with this statement? So, first of all, we need to get down what a way of knowing is, what a check is, and what an instinctive judgment is. So, a way of knowing is the way a human being makes sense or makes apparent of what surrounds it in the world. A check is a way to determine something's accuracy, quality, or condition. And instinctive judgments are the thought out and well structured judgments based on experience or what one think is an instinct. So the first thing I want to emphasize is the difference between intuition and the instinctive judgments. So intuition is the ability to understand something immediately without the need of conscience or reasoning. And instinctive judgments are thought out and well structured judgment based on experience or what one think is an instinct. So this is very important to understand where these two they can be extremely similar but contrast in many ways. Intuition is mainly based on experience and expertise, and the reasoning through the unconscious mind. See, the unconscious mind registers 99.99% of the data before the conscious mind. So everything that you surrounds you, let's say the smell, the area, the colors, everything, it's analyzed through the unconscious mind without the conscious mind knowing. So in this way, if you make a decision based on intuition, let's say, your conscious mind is making all the decision taking skills without you consciously knowing. So it affirms your intuitive judgments because in the intuitive judgments, basically you're using your instinct, but you're also using your thought process, your reason. What I mean by a thought process is that since humans are pattern-seeking animals, we will always take into consideration past experiences, what we observe around the world, our previous knowledge that we've obtained, and we will use it to make a decision or an instinctive judgment. So basically, let's use a real-life example. I'm taking an SAT test, and I see a list of answers, of possible answers, and my unconscious mind will automatically know what the answer looks like depending on the problem. But then it takes time for the conscious mind to make these certain calculations to make sure and affirm that the answer is correct. But intuition greatly affects and helps the conscious mind take this decision because based on the past experiences, you know what the answer will look like because you've probably done a lot of problems like this one, and you kind of know what it's gonna be, and that's your intuition. But then it's very amazing to think that without having any thought process or thinking, your unconscious mind already know what that answer is. That's intuition. That's the role it plays here. It affirms that the decision your conscious mind will make is correct. That purely instinctive judgment without thought process leads to that instinctive judgment, either affirming it or challenging it. For example, if I'm in a basketball game, 5 seconds left on the clock, my instinctive judgment is gonna say I'm not a good shooter. I'm gonna pass it, and then that could be right. It could affirm it, and that instinctive judgment is gonna tell me pass it. But let's say I'm right there under the basket. Intuition can immediately say shoot it. It's the best available option, and it can challenge that instinctive judgment, which is to pass the ball. Because I thought about it, I'm not a good shooter. I analyzed it, but that intuition, that instinct, without that thought process, can tell me to shoot it since I'm so close to the basket. And as I said earlier, humans are pattern-seeking animals, and if you're constantly using repetition in, let's say, shot taking and passing, you'll have that ability developed, that muscle memory, which is a pattern that the body recognizes, adapts to it, and stores it in its memory. And that could purely be based on experiences, which leads to that intuition. And that intuition, let's say, tells me to shoot the ball instead, certainly challenges my claim that I should pass it. But since I've been practicing so much, I could make it, and it's a high possibility. And it checks your instinctive judgment. So yes, a way of knowing such as intuition can definitely challenge and affirm, which is check our instinctive judgments in a way that it uses the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, our past experiences, our learned intuition, and our repetition, muscle memory, but it has a lot of factors when it comes to the word intuition. And you need to take into consideration all of these accounts in order for your instinctive judgments to be checked.